never mind me, I'm just come for one night to just do a little bit of talk, and I'd like to come and see you all now and again. But I think a big round of applause to Amazing Grace and everything that's going on in here. Let's lift the roof, come on.
Whoa, go on.
Right, now, obviously I was here a few weeks back and was talking about the loss of my daughter, but I also quickly went over about losing my brother. Now, the thing is, it's okay about today, but we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So every person, so that guy's just walked through the door, okay? We don't know how many times he's been in here. What happened to him today? Did he just stand up on top of a roof today? Did he just literally look over thinking, is it worth more? And do you know what? Everybody who thinks that there's a person goes on top of that roof, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, whatever. Let me tell you, there is more than that. Yeah. It's not just about drugs. It's not just about homelessness. It's not just about depression. There's loads of triggers. There could be a trigger, and I've literally said tonight to Sean, everybody's got a trigger, right? All of us. Yeah. You talk to me about suicide and think it's funny, trust me, you're going to find me trigger. You say to him about the homeless and you take the mick out of somebody, that's his trigger. And I would hope that a trigger for all of you would be if somebody said something about Amazing Grace because they're putting food on your table every single week.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's about the triggers. Now, the thing is, every single one of us has got one of them triggers, and all of us have been, let's face it, we've all had a down day. And we all use the I'm depressed. What's depressed? Where is that, where is the, I feel a bit down and I'm a bit fed up, and where is it depression? Now, I had my little brother, right? My little brother, we'd be about 20 years ago, literally came up to me and said, Sue, I need to have a word with you. I said, yeah, all right. Thinking, oh God, what have I done now? Anyway, literally, I was living in Shropshire at the time, but I was going back to Doncaster. And he said, Sue, last week something happened. I said, what happened? And that's when he turned and said to me, I was thinking about taking my own life. Mal, come on, let's come to Doncaster with me. No, Sue, I can't come to Doncaster. I've got my own life here. I'm fine. You and the kids have kept me here. I'm not going anywhere, you and the kids. So we talked every day, and we talked about stuff, and I've got goosebumps already, so he must be around here somewhere. And we talked all the time, and he spoke about stuff. But do you know what? It was stupid little triggers, like my falling out with my mum and dad, and that'll be for another night for anybody who wants to talk parents. But they did triggers that triggered him when he was 15 and 16-year-old. So everybody's running down these young ones, but what's triggering them? Yeah. You know, why are they doing the things that we do? We're quick to jump on them. Oh, it must be the parents. Do you know what? I've got a troublesome daughter. There's another story. But the thing is, I'm not a bad parent. We can't control our kids because we can't be with them every single day. Now, my brother had gone and painted a bedroom when he was 15-year-old, and he'd asked my dad to come and help him to paint the room and literally help him sort it. The dad didn't want to help him, but my brother did it all himself, and then he wanted his help to put a shelf up. My brother asked him, no, he's too busy. Why? He was sleeping on the sofa. So my brother put this up all on himself, and within half an hour he put the TV on, chucked to bits. Next minute we heard this massive bang upstairs, the TV had fallen and crashed and broken. Do you know what? At 30, he still remembered that his dad didn't take them 10 minutes to put a shelf up. So for each one of you who think, somebody asked you a favour and you didn't bother, just remember that actually might just be that trigger. So that one person that you didn't smile at today, or that homeless person that you just walked past today, that could just be that trigger that ends them up on Wilko's or Sainsbury's or anywhere else. It's just a one trigger. Now, my brother, 3 years ago, went and took his own life. He pushed me and my kids away, and he actually passed his pain down. So anybody who's thinking you're going to commit suicide and you're going to lose your pain, you know what, you will. You will. But I will ask every single one of you, if you have got any help that you need, there is people people right here in this room right now, and Sean will say like this, is the fact that you've got help. My brother didn't know who to turn to. He pushed me and my kids away, and he passed the pain to us. If I save one person tonight with my story, my tears, right, then at the end of the day, it's done a good job.
Yeah.
So every single person, everybody thinks that, that walks through that door, don't look down to anybody. I don't care what they look like. I don't care if they look, I'm not being funny, look at me. But what I'm saying is, don't judge somebody. What, because I'm a big girl, I must sit there and watch Jeremy Kyle and eat biscuits all day and do nothing? It couldn't be any further from the truth. So don't be judging. Think about those triggers. Every single one of us has got a little trigger, and all of us can make a difference. Now, the thing with Malcolm is a 37-year-old lad, and Sean actually reminds me of him, right? But he was, sorry, Sean, but Malcolm was a bit buildy, a bit more muscle.
Stockier.
Sorry, Sean. But do you know what? He was. But it was the most. The stories that I had after he'd gone was things like Christmas Eve. He actually went to an old lady's house, took her a bag of kindling, and gave her a box of chocolates. It's them little things. He did all that, and do you know what? You wouldn't, if you met him, you wouldn't ever know he'd got depression. And the church was packed full of all these people. But going back to that one bit of that one person who hadn't got a lot of money, when you see these people driving these big Porsches and these big BMWs and they think they're something, let's face it, we've all seen them. I want you to think about this. I've got a video that I want you to watch, right? And it's the guy called Steve who's the chat show host. I like Ellen DeGeneres, she's my favourite, my idol, okay? But we'll leave Ellen for another night. But Steve literally talks about where he started it off with just $35. Just have a watch.
$35. And I said, come on, God, man, I've been trying to make this dream come true. You done left me out here like this. And I was crying so hard that he just said, I didn't hear a voice or nothing, but he spoke to me in Harvey. He said, if you get up, I'm gonna take you places you ain't never been. Now I was finna quit. So I said, skip it. I'm gonna quit anyway. So I got in my car, I went to a payphone, and I was gonna call my dad. You remember back in the day where you could punch in a code and call your answering machine and get your messages? So I called and I punched in the code and it said, doop. He said, hey Steve, this is Chuck Sutton with Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of you. You're very funny. If you could get here Sunday night, we'd love to put you on television. Call me back. Let me know if you could make it. So I hung the phone up. I'm crushed because my whole dream of being on TV, and I couldn't get to New York. I got $35. How am I gonna get to New York? I can't make it. So I'm standing there at the phone booth and tears just coming down my face. I said, God, so that must be a sign for me to go home. Because this it, I ain't even got the money to go to the Apollo. My whole thing, I wanted to be on TV, I couldn't even make the dream come true. This is the most messed up moment. And so I said, man, let me call this dude back and see if he said this Sunday. Because maybe he said next Sunday and I could hustle up a little bit of money or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but let me just call him back. So I called him back. Steve, this is Chuck Sutton, Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of yours. You're very, very funny. Look, we have an opening Sunday night at Showtime at the Apollo. If you can make it, we'd love to put you on TV. I said, it's this Sunday. Before I hit the button, I heard, doop, you have another message. Now, it wasn't there before. So I punched my code in. I listened to the second message. It said, Steve Harvey, this is Tom Sober from the Comedy Caravan. This was a Thursday. He said, I have a gig in Jacksonville, Florida on Friday night that pays $150. If you can get there Friday night, you'll make $150. So I called him back and I said, hey, Tom, did you get a gig away? He said, no, it's still available. He said, can you get there? I said, I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I'm 3.5 hours away. So I drive to Jacksonville, Florida, and that night I made the $150. Club owner said, man, you funnier than the guy we hired. if you stay tomorrow night, I'm gonna give you another $150. So now I got $300 now.
Cool.
So I get on the phone, I call Chuck Sutton. I say, hey man, is the gig still available at Showtime at the Apollo? He said, well, we got one opening left. I said, I'll be there. So I called Eastern Airlines, who used to be open back then. They had a special for $99 going from Jacksonville, Florida to New York round trip. So I parked my car at the airport. I got it. Got on a plane, flew. Everything I had was in 2 bags. Got to the Apollo. I said, hey man, I'm here. I got there at 11 o'clock in the morning. He said, you can't stay here because you don't come on to the late show tonight. I said, man, I ain't got nowhere to go. I said, if you just let me stay in this building, man, I ain't gonna move around nothing. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm in Harlem, I can't go back out here. I got these 2 bags. I got victim wrote all over me, man. So he said, all right, if you go upstairs, don't come down. So he put me in the dressing room on the 6th floor. So that's where all the comedians were. So I stayed up there. I got hungry around 3 o'clock, and I couldn't take it no more. So I went back downstairs, a dude named Alton Liston. I said, hey man, he said, man, I thought I told you, don't come down them damn steps. I said, hey man, I'm just hungry, man. I said, let me go to that KFC I saw on the corner. Just let me get some chicken. I'll come right back. He said, man, if you ain't back in 20 minutes, you ain't getting in this building. So I went, bought me some chicken, came back. So the comedians started coming in the building. They started coming up on the 6th floor. So I meet this guy named D.L. Hughley. I introduced myself, he introduced himself. I'm sitting there, another guy come in named Dwayne Johnson. Then this other dude walked in named Jamie Foxx. And I introduced myself. We don't know each other, ain't none of us famous. It's 1991, man. They gave everybody the lineup. I was on the last show of the night. I don't go on to 11 at night. I done had this 4 pieces of chicken. I'm starving, man. That chicken done wore off. I'm nervous, man. I'm about to throw up. D.L. Hughley went downstairs. D.L. Hughley got booed off. Dwayne Johnson got booed off. Jamie Foxx went down there and got booed. They booed Jamie, then Jamie started singing. And then they started clapping. And Jamie had their ass, then he went back to them jokes, and they got his ass. So I'm walking down the steps and I see Jamie sitting on the steps. I said, hey man, hang in there. He said, man, that ain't never happened to me before, man. This is crazy. This Jamie Foxx, man, one of the most talented people in all of comedy. And now, you don't even know how nervous I am, man. I can't even, my breathing is shot because these dudes been booed. So I walk out, I had wrote this joke. Mike Tyson had got in a fight in Harlem with this heavyweight named Mitch Green. Mike Tyson had hit the dude in the eye in the store. Now he was on the news, his eye was swollen. So the joke I wrote was, they was interviewing Mitch Green and he was telling everybody what happened, but his eye took over the interview. And I wrote this joke that his eye started talking and was just, I'll tell you what happened. The heavyweight champ's fist is coming towards my face. I just said, Lord, Lord, Lord. And I wrote this whole joke about this dude's eyeball talking. And when the punch came, and all this here, the Apollo, man, they went crazy. They lost their mind. I got a standing ovation, man. I walked off stage, man, just started crying. I couldn't believe it. They paid me. I made $750 for being on TV for one night. I'd never made $750 telling jokes in one night. And so that was my first television appearance. A couple weeks later, Sinbad was the host of the show. He got this job on Different World, and so he quit. And so Mark Curry became the host. And then Mark Curry got hanging with Mr. Cooper, and he quit. And they came to me and said, would you come back to New York and host amateur night for us to just try you out? Oh, ain't no problem. And so I went to New York, I hosted amateur night, and I was killing. But every time we went to commercial break, I was supposed to let the warm-up act take over like Ruben does. But I knew not to let the warm-up act do that because he would change the attitude of the crowd, because the Apollo was a wild place. So I stayed out there. I did the warm-up and the hosting. And I created a bond with that audience. And that's how I got on TV. It was my very first TV show. I hosted Showtime at the Apollo. I ended up being the longest running host in the history of Showtime Apollo. I did that show for 8 years. Nobody ever did it for 8 years. And that was my turn back moment. See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you can go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen.
Yes.
That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what. Because God is always coming. He's never too late. At your worst moment, look, man, when they told me I had to be in New York, I saw no way I could get there. But that God, though, he make the phone ring. I end up in Florida, I make $300. Then I go to New York, I make $750. I almost got $1,000 out of nowhere. That's what happened to me. That was my moment of never giving up. That's when I first learned that faith was everything, that you have to remain faithful.
Faith is everything.
That's what Sue watches at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're going through them videos. But do you know what? It's like he said, it's a turnaround. Do you know what? There's plenty of you in here tonight, you know, and I know that some of you are really struggling. I know that sometimes you can't see for tomorrow, but do you know what? There's always somebody worse off. Always. Yeah. And do you know what? We can all make a difference. It doesn't matter if you share your brew with the person next to you because you're homeless and you need to share a brew, or whatever it may be, or you give a quid to somebody else or whatever. It's about making a difference and remembering that. And I want everybody to remember this, because I've sat there tonight in that chair watching as people come through. And do you know what I'm going to do every time I come here? I'm literally going to sit by that door and I'm going to say, hiya, how you doing? Yeah. Because that one do you know what? When I first came, I didn't need here, right? I'm not being funny when I say this. I didn't need it. I wanted to come, right? But even for me to walk through that door not knowing anybody, bar probably Mark and a couple of others, it's a bit freaky, right? And there's some that's got anxiety problems, you've got depression, you've got people that have just literally, you know, we've had people from down south and up north that have come to Blackpool to, you know, they wanted to find them big bright lights, haven't they, right? But in here, it's scary. What about, who can remember the first time they come in? Wasn't it scary? Didn't you feel a bit like, ooh, this is a bit thing? Like, let's face it, I'm a brew girl. Where's that brew? I don't want to ask. Or where's the toilet? Oh, don't ever want to ask. You know, so if somebody new comes in, you don't recognise faces. Well, actually, even if they've been here 1,000 times, just say hello. How are you doing? You all right? Do you know what I mean? So that's what we should have that door for. It's not for keeping the draft in. It's for letting people in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And even the ones that are sitting out. I'm not a smoker, but I like to have my fag breaks. If you sat out there with a quick fag or having a moon, see somebody just hanging about. Say, hey, you coming in? Do you know what I mean? Because do you know what? That might actually be somebody like my brother that just needed that one person. My brother didn't didn't pick his phone up and didn't ring me. My brother didn't send me an email or send me a message, but there could be somebody stood right outside there right now that not one of you spoke to, that not one of you let go, and they're walking to Wilco's right now. They're walking to Sainsbury's right now. They're walking to the pier right now. See somebody, speak, help, put your hand out, give them a quid, give them a drink. Just give them a smile and just share the love, because that could be somebody's brother, sister. And just for my last thing, because he said 15 minutes, but I don't do time very well. So if I'm boring you, put your hand up, I'll stop. But just let me, don't anybody put your hand up. But just let me tell you a quick story. I was one day going down the road with my daughters in the car, I've got the grandkids, going down the road, and there's this guy fallen on the pavement. And you can see he's out of it, right? Now I came from Shropshire, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know what spice was. That was in the herb tub. Do you know what I mean? And seeing some of the things I've seen, I'm telling you what, it's broke my heart to see it. This guy is literally full blown out on the pavement, and I'm like, ooh, don't really know what to do here. So I literally rung up the ambulance. I'm talking away to this lovely ambulance lane. I'm sorry, there's this guy that he's fallen on this thing. He said, is he breathing or anything? I said, well, I don't really want to touch him because I don't know what he's had or how he's going to be. When he wakes up, he could attack me or anything. I don't really know. And she said, it's okay. Next minute, this four lads come past me. Oh, what are you doing messing about with him for? You're not wasting an ambulance, are you? I said, excuse me, love. I said, just hold the phone a minute. Who the hell are you talking to? And I literally turned around and said, do you realise that's somebody's brother, uncle, dad, granddad, whatever? I said, if that was your brother, would you still want me to walk past? Or would you want me to pick him up? I said, oh, well, you are the ones that supplied the stuff that he's down on the floor with. I said, keep on walking. I picked up the phone, comes back to this ambulance woman, and she goes, I said, oh, I'm sorry, so sorry about that. I was so rude. She went, no, that's the best phone call I've had in days. And do you know what? It could be my brother. It could be your brother. It could be any of your family tonight. Would you want them to be picked up, saved, give a quid, a cup of tea or whatever? It's about making a change. And do you know what? I see all these bills. Do you know what? I've been to his provision today. Sorry for saying about something else. But it's about connecting. This is not about whose soup kitchen's better, who's serving the most meals, who's give out the most clothes, who's give out the most... do you know what? Honestly, I've only lived in Blackpool 5 years, right? And I see that our town is being run by one hell of a community that we should be proud of. We've got a council sat there who are doing nigh on nothing as far as I'm concerned, and this town's being run by a community. So, in the summer months, I'm going to be coming back because I am going to be needing your guys' help. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want the council to know what I'm going to do. I've had a couple of words about it. But I'm going to bring Blackpool to a standstill in the summer. I want the council to realise that we, the community, run them and this town, not the council anymore. No more, right? So we will be bringing it. We will be... Oh, no, I won't. And do you know what, council, if you're listening, I just want to tell you that 2020 is the year that Blackpool kicks ass. Thank you very much. Oh, and just one more thing. This song is for my brother. I didn't play this at his funeral, but this would have been the choice I had, and I absolutely... I want you to all sing together and just think about your loved ones right now, okay? Thanks very much, guys.
Hey.